Bonjour and salam alaikum from the Big Red Island of Madagascar. I know I say this every year, but I love the new year. Every year at this time, I always look back at the goals that I set for myself and for the ministry the year before to see if we were able to accomplish them. Then I set new goals for the next year. The big goal that we set for this last year was to get a new church plant up and running off the ground. It was awesome to watch God work. We started out in June with about 45 people on our very first Sunday service, and at Christmas we had an all-time high attendance of 245 people. One of the great things about our service on Christmas Day was that we had several new teenagers come for the very first time, and they have returned every week since then to both church and to the youth group. Not only that, but the first Sunday of the new year, I had 7 teenagers approach me after church who wanted to accept Jesus as their Savior. Then the very next week, we had 3 more people come to be saved. God has been working here. So there are several things that we're looking towards as we move into this new year. First of all, after having several people saved and others come to rededicate their lives to Jesus, we are going to be heavily pushing discipleship this year. Last week, we put out a new take-home Bible study course, and within the first few minutes, all the booklets were taken. People are hungry for the Word. I also want to help people go through a one-on-one discipleship program with the hopes that when each individual is finished, they will then turn around and take other people through discipleship as well. Another thing that we are really looking forward to this year is to take our new youth group from our church to camp for the very first time. We know this will be huge for their spiritual lives. Then, we also have several exciting outreaches planned this year. You may remember our back-to-school school supplies outreach. It was very effective for us last year and resulted in people coming to church and accepting Jesus as their Savior. We'll be doing that one again for sure. So expect to begin hearing about that in our June and July updates. All in all, we can't wait to see how God works in 2024. Here are some things that you can be praying with us about over the next several weeks. First of all, we're hoping to be able to do our very first baptisms as a church at some point in the next few months. That will require a location, whether we bring in some sort of a tank to our church or go to one of the lakes that's close to our church. It also requires some teaching because there is a lot of confusion about what baptism means in this culture. In many ways, because of family pressure from parents or even extended family, baptism can be a harder step for the Malagasy than even salvation. So be in prayer for us and the church as we work through that process. Also, be praying about our visas. You know, for the past few years, we've only been able to get short-term visas. Matter of fact, the last one was only 9 months before we had to renew. The process to get a new visa takes a lot of time that could be invested in the ministry instead of doing administrative work. We now think that we've been able to get a much longer visa this time, and we've been told that we've been approved, but we can't count on it until we have it in our hands or in our passport. So please be praying with us about that. Now, let me end by saying that as we look back on 2023 and see all that God has accomplished here on the Big Red Island, it is obvious that you've been praying for and with us. So as we move into 2024, we want to say thank you for your prayers for us, and we always want you to know that we are also praying for you.